Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Modern Sense Minute. I'm your host, Andrea Thompson. I was going up to a cottage last weekend and was in the car with a friend of mine who brought up this really interesting topic that I had never really heard about or had never really crossed my plate before. And I wanted to bring it up today because I think it's really interesting. We're talking about a massive pile of cash, over $1.6 billion to be exact. And this is the crazy part. A piece of that money might actually belong to you or your parents or your grandparents or your loved ones. This isn't like some weird investment or a scam. This is actually real money sitting right now in the Bank of Canada's Unclaimed Balances Registry. So think about it. If you've ever moved and forgotten to close an old bank account or change jobs and leave a tiny pension, or have you ever left an uncashed payroll check behind? Or maybe a relative passed away and had a savings account that no one else knew about. I mean, that happens a lot. So, what happens in Canada to that money? If an account sits empty and untouched for 10 years, Canadian banks are legally required to pack up that money and ship it off to the Bank of Canada. And right now, they're holding on to $0.6 billion waiting for people to claim it. So, how does money end up in this sort of digital lost and found? In Canada, federally regulated banks have to try and find you. We'll send you notices at the 2 year mark, the 5 year, 9 year of an account being inactive. But if you've moved or changed your email or ignored the mail or if it got lost, that money officially becomes unclaimed after 10 years of zero activity. Now, once the Bank of Canada gets it, they don't just keep it forever without a timeline. It depends on how much was in there. So if the balance is under $1,000, they'll hold on to it for 30 years. But if it's $1,000 or more, they will hold on to it for a whopping 100 years. And that's not just cash in a standard savings account. We're also talking about uncashed bank drafts, certified checks, traveler's checks, GICs, you name it. Okay, so how do you get your hands on it? And this is the best part. Searching is entirely free and it's public and it takes about 30 seconds. If you're listening right now and you're not driving, go to your computer, pull up a web browser, and go to unclaimedproperties.bankofcanada.ca. I'll also put it in the show notes. And when you get to the site, you don't have to create a profile or log in. You just literally type in a name. So, tip one is search your own name, obviously, and see what comes up. Or try your maiden name if you've been married, or any other variations of your name. Then search anyone else that may have unclaimed property. So search for your parents, your aunts, your uncles, or any deceased relatives. This could also be really helpful for executors of an estate who aren't sure that they have an accurate record of the entire history of the person that they're acting for. If a name pops up, the registry will show you the amount or at least a range and which bank it came from. A quick warning here, though. Because this data is public, there are often unclaimed property recovery firms out there. They'll find your name, track you down, and offer to get the money for you for a hefty 20 or 30%. Don't do this. The Bank of Canada never charges a fee to claim your own money. You can fill out the form online yourself. You don't need somebody else to do it for you. So, what happens if you search the Bank of Canada registry and find absolutely nothing? Then just don't give up yet. That registry only covers federally regulated institutions like the big banks. But Canada has a whole secondary layer of lost money. If you've lived in BC, Alberta, or Quebec, those provinces run their own independent unclaimed property registries. They handle things like the federal government doesn't, like forgotten utility security deposits, unpaid wages from local companies, or local credit union accounts. So if you've ever lived in one of those provinces, you'll probably want to Google your specific provincial unclaimed property registry too. Millions more are sitting there. So that's your homework for today. Go to unclaimedproperties.bankofcanada.ca, type in your family name and see what happens. And if you actually find something, whether it's $20 or $2,000, shoot me a message or leave a comment on this episode. I would love to hear your treasure hunt stories. And thanks for listening. Go get your money, and I'll catch you on the next episode.